You know how inconsiderate a person has to be for them to bring a child on earth when they realize that they can barely afford their lives, they're not happy with their lives, right? Then they decide to bring a child on earth, and when this child is born, already they have a weight on their shoulder to free their families, to provide for their families. Already, the minute this child finishes high school, they can't even think of going to a university because the first thing that they are worried about is that there needs to be food at home.
Y.A.D Totiro.
What's up, everybody? I hope you guys are doing good. Today we have a very interesting video. We got Glamour in the building. I haven't reacted to her videos in a while, and the topic looks so interesting. Poor South Africans should stop having kids now. You see, this title alone will press a lot of buttons. But let's see what the video has for us. Let's tap in.
Starvation remains a major challenge in the Eastern Cape. A Department of Social Development report on child poverty states that 8 million children in rural areas are malnourished. Many families in the Eastern Cape live below the poverty line, with most relying on social income grants to buy staple.
I won't even lie, bro. I won't pretend like I don't know what's happening and I'm not aware of these kind of situations. I'm sure you guys have seen it, bro. It's not to, attack anyone or put people down, but I'm just saying what's happening. If you guys notice that, the people who are kind of like below middle class, they kind of have a lot of kids for some reason. They just have a lot of kids. That's crazy.
Food for survival.
This is the dejected life of an unemployed mother with many kids to look after. But the situation has been deteriorating over the past years. The living conditions here are inhumane, and children as young as 2 years old.
But where are the dads, though? In these kind of situations, where are the dads? Some stories the dads are also involved, but it's always umama nenganzaki suffering in poverty. They don't have any food, no easy access to water. They just live in misery. Where are the dads?
Have to face the reality of poverty.
The target is school-going age learners from crèche to high school. The aim is to ensure that they have a meal before going to bed, as most come from families with little or no income at all.
A new UNICEF report has revealed that South Africa is one of 20 countries that account for 65% of all children living in severe child food poverty globally.
Queuing up for food. However, it is only enough for a few days. Hunger and poverty remain major challenges for many communities in the Eastern Cape, resulting in the deaths of many children and leaving the elderly depressed.
Child malnutrition has become a cause for concern in some Eastern Cape communities as families struggle to make ends meet. A 5-month-old baby remains under intensive care in hospital, receiving treatment for malnutrition.
Research shows that children are malnourished due to poverty.
34-year-old Ntabise
Ay maranan bazali. Ay meliki khulume yazi lento. Like, bro, like, having a kid is a gift. There's nothing wrong with having a kid, bro. You feel me? But, like, why would you want to have a kid knowing the state that you're in, though? You get what I'm saying? Like, knowing that at the current moment, you can't even feed yourself properly. But what you're thinking of is, like, having a kid. I mean, not all situations are the same. Some kids came, like, in a different way. Like, some kids came through grape, which is terrible. It's not a good thing, in different ways, man. You feel me? But some people sat down and thought about it and they just wanted to have a kid. I don't know, man. I find it a bit, odd. Like, that I'm in a very bad situation. I can't really take care of my kid, but I want to have a kid. I don't know, man. You guys comment down below and tell me how does that situation come about?
Tlhabane says her family of 10 has been living in this shack for almost a decade.
Re dula re le 10 mo re nnang teng. Ke tsaya gore re ira 9 years since re nna
The cold is coming, and for many South African children, winter doesn't mean blankets and warmth. It means cold floors, empty stomachs at nights that feel too long. It means going to school hungry even when sick, because that's the only guaranteed meal during school days. These clips you just watched, that's not rare. That's everyday life for millions of children in this country. And the uncomfortable question is, how did we get here? Because these children didn't choose this life. They didn't choose hunger or struggle. Someone chose for them. And that's where this conversation gets difficult. In South Africa, we love to say children are blessings. But what happens when love is there and money is not? When you claim to care but have no plan? At what point do we stop blaming everything and everybody else and ask the harder questions? Why are people still having children they cannot afford? Before we get into today's video, please like, subscribe, and turn the notification button on so that you receive a notification every single time I post a video. Living in poverty is not just about lacking money. It is about feeling trapped, invisible, and powerless. Poor people are often treated like they are less than human, as if their lives do not matter as much.
But poverty is not having money. Or am I being too harsh, or it's just the truth? Poverty is not having money, bro. In most cases.
Every day brings new challenges that many middle class or rich South Africans barely manage. To school hungry, parents skip meals to feed their kids, families live in unsafe, cramped homes. Stress becomes a constant companion as they worry about bills, transport, and survival. Poverty is dehumanizing because it takes away dignity. Every child born into these conditions faces a life of struggle from the very start. When parents bring a child into this world knowing the hardships they will face, they are placing a person into suffering. They are saying, whether consciously or unconsciously, I want this life for my child. Even though most children, all children, deserve more than endless worry and scarcity. Poverty is not romantic, poverty is not noble, it is cruel. And to those who want to minimize or dismiss this chat for whatever reason, I'm going to let you hear what people who grew up under these circumstances, I'm going to let them speak for themselves, and also people who are just older and professionals, since there's someone in my last video who felt like I'm too young to speak on these issues.
Poverty is so violent because it seeps into every aspect of your life in the most unexpected ways. So I was chilling with my uncle's wife and we were basically talking about her 6-year-old child who just came into grade 1, the child being my cousin. And so now I'm comparing her child's life or her child's childhood to my childhood, right? And I'm like, okay, when I was, 6-7 years old, I had to go to Joburg CBD alone and I didn't get to have the aesthetic cute lunches that my cousin has. Those cute little, TikTok mom lunches. Make my kids lunch with me. It's like an aesthetic lunch, a cute little lunch tin. I never got to have any of those experiences. This entire conversation made me realize that kids are the most affected by poverty, right? People can argue that, kids don't know that they're poor, kids don't know what money is. True, but they are.
Yeah, man. People who say kids don't get so affected by poverty, I don't know where that mindset comes from, because as that saying goes, I forgot how it goes like properly, but I'll just, summarize it. When 2 elephants fight, what gets most affected is the grass. You get what I'm saying? So kids get super affected, bro. Like, they get super affected, bro. Like, I would say it's even like 10 times more than the parents, bro. Because the parents are like grown and they can like maneuver through certain situations. But a kid doesn't know most of the things. You get what I'm saying? So they would feel more pressure, honestly speaking.
are in fact the most affected by it. Because think of it like this: when you're a parent and your sole purpose or your main focus is surviving, you don't have time to create a magical childhood for your child, right? When you are a parent who's fixated on surviving, you will get, setups where parents make older kids take the little kids to school, where they make the older kids bathe and prep the younger kids for school, because maybe they have a demanding job as a security guard, maybe they have to be at work at 4 a.m. in odd times, right? I feel like kids really do in fact receive the most whiplash when it comes to poverty. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't, people of like a lower income who do go out of their way to give their kids good experiences. They do exist. But like I said, when your goal is to just simply survive, you don't have the luxury of planning cute birthday parties with the balloons and giving your kid a magical childhood.
Poverty shrinks your brain. It undermines your curiosity and amplifies your fears.
Hey. Timer man. Just came in with bombastic words. Huh? Yeah.
When you are in lack, you don't think that you have the power of choice. You stick to your survival patterns.
Come on.
You activate your stress hormones. And you spend most of your life trying to preserve the little you have. So you become very restricted.
Yeah.
Now imagine if this is how you feel as an adult. Imagine how a child feels. A child that's been raised by a poor adult.
Because, bro, like, kids are like a reflection of the parents. You get what I'm saying? What affects the parent, high chance is going to affect the child too.
The disadvantaged adult. It undermines the child's creativity because they don't have the privilege of being curious and playing around options without the fear that those options are simply wasted opportunities and wasted resources. The idea that when you make a mistake you've wasted something undermines the child's right to explore, to be curious, and to grow into being an adult that is very confident. It takes away their sense of style, their interest, or hobbies, and anything else that would enhance the quality of their lives as adults.
Yeah.
Do you know how inconsiderate a person has to be for them to bring a child on earth when they realize that they can barely afford their lives? They are not happy with their lives, right?
Crazy.
And they decide to bring a child on earth. And when this child is born, already they have a weight on their shoulder to free their families, to provide for their families. Already, the minute this child finishes high school, they can't even think of going to a university because the first thing that they are worried about is that there needs to be food at home.
Some people argue that having children is an expression of love. Children are blessings, they say. And yes, they are blessings, but love alone does not feed a child. It does not pay school. It does not give safety and stability. Bringing a child into a situation where they will almost certainly face suffering is selfish. Being poor does not just mean you cannot afford luxuries. It means you are stacking difficulties on top of difficulties that are already scarce. Many parents feel pressure to have children because of social expectations, family expectations, or even personal desires. But a child needs more than just love. They need stability, security, and care. Many people claim that South Africans have children to get the SASSA Child Support Grant. This point was already mentioned on my previous video when you guys suggested today's topic. But let us be real for a moment. That grant is little. That is barely enough to cover part of a child's food, let alone clothes, school fees, or medical costs. The grant cannot raise a child on its own. The monthly expenses of a child are definitely more than 500 rands. But I do agree that Child SASSA grant does make it a little easy / comfortable for a lot of people who are having kids carelessly. So while some people point to SASSA grant as the reason for high birth rates in poor communities, it is not the real story, or at least I don't think it's realistic. I think the truth is deeper and more complicated. Children are being born into poverty because of cultural expectations, lack of education, lack of access to contraceptives, less of personal hope, and sometimes I think it's just ignorance and not caring. Many people grow up believing that having children is a sign of adulthood and status. In relationships, some couples have kids to keep a partner, even when they cannot afford them. As sad as it sounds, yes, some people really do be having kids hoping it'll strengthen their relationship, and of course soon after the child is born you quickly realize how wrong you were, which also contributes to and goes back to that video of parents regretting having kids. But I digress. Some young people do not have proper sex education or access to affordable birth control. I'm specifically talking about some of these kids in the rural areas, some of which don't go to school at all. Others have children as a way to fill hope or purpose in a life that often feels hopeless. Some have kids hoping those kids will eventually come to their rescue and take them out of poverty, which I think is selfish, because having a child with the sole intention of them taking you out of poverty is crazy business. But again, I digress. The problem is social pressure, lack of education, short-term thinking, and just ignorance for some people. I just feel like there's a lot of ignorant people who are just having kids without putting much thought into it. But the outcome is the same. More children are born into struggle. Society also contributes to the cycle. Like I said, government policies provide grant, which is necessary, but it does not help the situation or solve poverty. Communities may celebrate large families even when they struggle to care for their children. Schools and healthcare systems are underfunded, leaving parents to navigate impossible challenges. All these factors make it easier to have children in poverty, but they do not make it right. The choice to have a child should be deliberate and responsible, not automatic. Excuse me.
We have to talk about this obsession society has with people having kids. We have to talk about it to a point where all logic and reasoning goes out the window. Because why you are asking someone who's unemployed, when are they getting kids? Hi guys, this one, it makes me so angry. What do you mean you are asking an unemployed person? Who's gonna feed those kids once they are here? Hi, guys, you can't bring.
Yeah, and nowadays it's like, I'm even gonna talk like around my age group, bro. Like early 20s, they having kids like crazy, bro. I don't know if like having a kid is a flex, but if I can't take care of my kid, why am I bringing him on earth, bro?
Bring abantwana to poverty just because you guys are obsessed with people having kids.
Like I said in the previous video, people need to stop having kids just because you think you're expected to. But really interrogate themselves. Like, do I really want one? Can I really afford it? Among other important factors, of course. Children deserve a chance at a life of stability and opportunity. When parents ignore this responsibility, they are knowingly adding suffering to a life that is already difficult.
Yeah, man. I don't want to make this video too long. If you guys want to watch the full video, I'll just leave the link down below. But yeah, man, it is a serious situation we are currently facing as a country. You know, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on in their minds. But as I said at the beginning of the video, not everyone who has kids, it was like pure intentions. You know, situations do happen, and they just find themselves having kids. But if you thought about it properly, you know you don't have means to take care of yourself first, and you bring a kid into this world. That's kind of crazy to me, bro. But you guys comment down below and tell me what you think. I'm a tap with you. Love you. Take care.